Hey guys, I'm doing a new video for my Frost Weakauras. There's been a bit of changing and tweaking and stuff going on, so I'll just start from scratch and go through everything again. I'll start with the water elemental things. The first thing you might notice on the screen is the big obnoxious water elemental icon here that tells you that you don't have them out. Obviously, if I cast it, it disappears. Um, it's not effective while only winter's active, obviously, but I don't really think that's a thing at the moment anyway, but at least the functionality's there. Um, I've also just today added a couple of notifications because I've had massive problems with this in the past where I get to like the last boss of a dungeon or something and I realize that my water alley's been on passive the whole time. So I've added some notifiers to tell you that your water alley is on passive or defensive when you're in combat. Now I'll just put them on passive and I'll just show it to you. Now if I get into combat, it'll just give me an icon and telling me that my pet is passive. Same thing goes for defensive. That only disappears when you leave combat or you put them into assist mode. So that's that. The last water alley thing is the water jet icon. This is a pretty simple tracker just to show you that water jet's available, the cast time of water jet, and when it's on cooldown. Um, that's that. Moving on to the main HUD, I'll start from the left. We've got Icy Veins. Now I've added an animation on top of Icy Veins so that when it's active, it's a bit more obvious. It shows you the timer, it shows you an animation. It looks pretty nice. You can see it there. The next icon is Frozen Orb. That's always going to be there. That's just a standard cooldown. After that, we start the talent ones, which all change depending on what talent you've got selected at the moment. This one here is Ray of Frost, Lonely Winter, and Rip Water Alley, and Bone Chilling. Bone Chilling will also track the debuff on the icon on the target, as you can see. Shows you the stacks. Sorry, my mouse was in the way. And cast my Water Alley again. The next one is Frostbomb, Unstable Magic. Just waiting to get out of combat. Unstable Magic, Arctic Gale. Frostbomb also has tracking on the HUD. It's grayed out at the moment, but when you cast Frostbomb on something, it pops in and you can see the debuff on the target. If you switch targets, it disappears just so you can keep track of that. The next one is, at the moment, is Glacial Spike, which is also Thermal Void and Comet Storm. I'll leave it on Glacial Spike to show you how the icicles and stuff work after this. The last little one is Ice Nova, Frozen Touch, Splitting Ice. All the passive talents are sort of dimmed out as well, but they sort of need to be there to keep the HUD intact, and it just shows you what you've got talented anyway. On the end is your Mirror Image, Incantus Flow, which changes its state depending on stacks, so it goes from red to green, and Rune of Power. I've also added the animation to Rune of Power, so when it's active, you get the animation and the timer on the buff. As you can see there, if I move out of it as well, it disappears, reappears when you move back into it. That's that. Underneath that, we've got, I've moved these. These are the Ice Flows charges at the bottom here, the three of them. They used to be at the top, but I've put them along the bottom to match up with the Fire HUD and the Arcane HUD. When you cast it, the charges shows you it recharging, and it also puts a graphic on the screen there around your HUD to let you know that the buff's active. Above the big buttons, you can see these two little thin bars. They're just to show your shimmer or blink charges, depending on whether you've got shimmer talents or not. And when you've only got one, when you blink, there's only one shimmer too. If I use those, you can see them recharging. Game just chunked out. Caught on a chair. Right. Now the big bar in the middle is Ebon Bolt. It used to be a little model above the HUD, but I didn't really like it much. It was kind of a bit gimmicky. It was a bit hard to see when there's lots of stuff going on the screen as well, and it didn't look as tidy. But now it's just a bar, so if I cast Ebon Bolt, it disappears. You see the cooldown. When it's blue, you can cast it again. It's pretty straightforward. Now there's two other little things that aren't always there. One of them is Glacial Spike. So when you've got Glacial Spike talented, your icicles behave differently, and when you get 5, you can cast your glacial spikes. So I've added tracking for the icicles when you've got that talented. You can also see the stacks on the icon there, and the little icons here above the Heaven Bolt bar. Now, when you get to 5, the icon lights up, which tells you that it's probably a good idea to cast glacial spike. Boom, didn't even crit. That's that. You might have also noticed a little icon popping up on the top right here. Now, there's a little artifact trait called Chain Reaction, which empowers your Ice Lancers and can stack up to 3 times, depending on your Frostbolt crits. So if I just cast a few Frostbolts and get some mad crits, you can see that that's stacking up, and you can see how long is left on that buff for your empowered Ice Lancers. So that's good. That's pretty much all there is for the HUD itself. Oh wait, sorry. There's a Cauterize buff as well, which I can only show you through the config. What's going on here? There we go. So in the middle of the screen, if you've got Cauterize spec'd and you get shanked, you'll see a Cauterize icon appear while you've got the buff active in the middle of the screen, and once that disappears, you can see a little orange bar down the bottom here which shows you the cooldown of Cauterize. So when Cauterize is ready again, that'll disappear and you can go kill yourself again. Alright. Okay, so that's definitely it for the HUD. I want to show you a couple of extra groups that I've set up as well. Let me just sort all this stuff out here. Okay, so you might notice in the middle here, there's a couple of extra Fingers of Frost procs. This was originally made for the tier 18 4-piece, which was in WAD, which gave you 2 extra procs of it. But there's also an artifact trait here in Frost that, where is it? There, gives you another charge of Fingers of Frost. So this is just a way to track that. These are made for a 1080 resolution, so if you've got anything different, you'll probably have to move them around or resize them or whatever to suit your resolution, but you'll have to do that yourself. Moving on, there's the big buff group here, which is slowly getting smaller and smaller because I'm tracking things like combustion and icy veins in the HUD now rather than in this group, but it still has the ice block, the invisibility, and the time warp buffs, or bloodlust, or heroism, or the hunter one, whatever they call it, that comes up whenever that's active, and the the very large group with lots of icons here is a group that my partner Tal and I have made, which contains all of things like procs and buffs, potion buffs, and trinket buffs from Legion in it. So it's got all the trinkets from Emerald Nightmare, all the dungeon trinkets, all that sort of stuff in there. So all of these extra groups are available to download in the collection that I've linked in the description for the video. So you can grab them there if you want the extra ones. If you don't, just grab the HUD. It's up to you. That's pretty much all there is to show you. I hope you find these frost auras helpful and easy to use and not too confusing. If you've got any questions, comments, or anything, feel free to leave a comment in the video below or on Wago. I look at that too, and I also hang out in the Mage Discord. If you want to jump on there and have a bit of a chat about anything, just do it. I'm easy. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you later.